So it's Tuesday night. I didn't get to go to the thrift store on lunch today. I had some running around to do, so I stopped over afterwards, and it's kind of worked out pretty well. So in the back was a fat PlayStation in there, and it says ask for bag C. I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, and finally I went back and I was like, I'll just look just in case it's a package. Wrath, Nitro Kart, SSX Tricky, SSX3. Comes with one controller. It's really clean. Oh, and a memory card. So honestly, I don't always pick up the fats. I like the slims better, but this was just really clean. I paid $29 for it. To be honest, pretty happy with that. It's not a great deal, but the games are pretty solid there, so it will be an easy bundle to put and flip. Like I said, the controller is probably $15 itself, and the games are definitely worth that. So then they had Pokemon Sun for the 3DS in this adapter, power saver. No idea what it is, what it's for, what it does, but it was only $5.99, so definitely worth that. Zelda Adventure of Link for the Game Boy. Little label damage, but it was only $1.99. And then they had a PlayStation 1 memory card for $1.99 too. So definitely always pick those up, especially since it's a PlayStation brand or Sony brand. Yeah, so not a bad little pickup. It was like 40 bucks, I believe. So I'll take it, get that home, test it. Hopefully everything works. Honestly, like I said, it's in pretty nice condition, so I don't think I'll have any trouble. So yeah, hopefully we find some more pickups the rest of the week. Happy Saturday. It's still brutally cold. It says 51 degrees, but I can assure you it's nowhere near that. Just leaving the flea market. It's just cold. Not a lot of people out early anyways. I got here about 7, so did find some stuff. There was a lot of other people walking around. So I started off the morning with this Polaroid for $2. I found a company that buys them for $28, free shipping, so it works out to about 25 bucks. So I'm picking those up left and right. I found this Pac-Man plug and play. I'm gonna make sure I test these a little bit better. I sent one out and had it returned because there was a short in the plug. I also got this SpongeBob plug and play. I paid $2 for each of those, and then the last find was this Nintendo 64, just a regular expansion pack. In it, I did 2 laps. First time it wasn't there, and then I walked by again, and it was literally just sitting on the floor. I usually never buy stuff from the inside vendors. The guy wasn't there, so I was standing there waiting, and a couple other game hunters came up behind me and were standing there hovering over my shoulder. The guy was outside. They walked out, talked to him, basically telling him what they would pay, and telling them to ask me more so they would come back and buy it. He said 25, I said 20. I said, actually, I'll just buy it for 25 just to spite them so they couldn't come back in. So yeah, that pretty much put a damper on their day, I would imagine, because they were definitely hovering for it. So I'll clean it up, get it fixed. I got controllers at home. It'll work just fine. I'm gonna head out, try to find some yard sales. There are a few around. They start about 8 o'clock or so, maybe a little later. Here's my morning rant. It is, so maybe we'll have some luck there. Don't advertise video games at a 9 o'clock start time if you're not gonna start till 10, and if you have 3 video games. I literally waited around for this stack of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 games, and had this guy literally cut me off to pull in front of me, snake this girl as she gets out of her car, and then gets a slim PS2 that he doesn't have any cords or any controllers for, which is a lie because I know that I've seen him before at the flea market yard sales and he buys everything. Yeah, so I literally sat there for about 45 minutes to find out that they had junk, Grand Theft Auto, PS2 games, and some PSP loose case games that he won $65 for. So yeah, not gonna happen. I ended up buying a VCR in box with all the plastic remote. I paid $5 for it. They're going for $50, $60, $70. One was $25 with $58 shipping. So that better pan out so that it's worth my time. Otherwise, that is complete bullshit. Rant over. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another week of pickups. You can see kind of small pickups this week. Obviously had a pretty great last week, so things definitely had to change. But all in all, can't complain. Kind of happy with what I got. It'll be good resale and flipping. So let's get started and see what I got. This I actually picked up Sunday at the thrift store. I had seen it there earlier in the week in the back, and they just hadn't brought it out yet. I did some research. I believe it is for a PlayStation 4. It may be a PlayStation 3 as well. I think the blue is for the 4. It's in really good shape. I paid $12.99 for it. I'm just going to try to sell it right off the bat. I won't be able to test it, so that might hurt a little bit, but it was going anywhere from $30 to $40, $50, $60. So good little flip to help put some money in my pocket. Next was this PlayStation 2 bundle here. I probably paid a little more, but the system came with the AV, a controller, power cable, the fat PlayStation, 8 megabyte memory card, and these 4 games, which are complete, and they were pretty good games, and they'd probably be good nostalgia. I paid $30 for everything. I figured if nothing else, a couple videos ago, I picked up a lot of PlayStation loose discs. I'm going to bundle these all together so that I can get rid of them in one fell swoop. That way I just don't have to worry about them. That'll probably help get that to sell a little better. It's not as sought after as the PlayStation 2 Slim models. But I tested all these. They all work. I also tested probably 15 or 20 other PS2 games from that bundle. They work well. This reads everything, so it was really clean, so I was okay with that. Next were the pickups from this weekend at the flea market. So I got these two plug and plays. The plug and plays have been doing pretty well. I did have one returned because the cord was loose in the back. So I definitely learned to check those. I paid $2 each for them. They're going to clean up pretty well. I haven't tested them out, but honestly I can't see why they wouldn't particularly work. This next one here, if you saw in the video, I picked up just to spite some people. It was basically just the system, the power cord, and a stock expansion. You know, everything moves pretty well. The inside looks pretty good. Just need cleaned up. I paid $25 for it. Earlier in last week, I picked up NCAA Football 14 for the PS3. The last year that they made NCAA, I paid $2.99 for that. So definitely, you know, keep your eye out for that. I got this PlayStation 1 memory card for $1.99. I got the Zelda. Alright guys, good morning. We're at the flea market. It's 66 degrees, the first day that we didn't have to wear hats, gloves, jackets, and people didn't have their heaters out. It was awesome, and there was a ton of people out. So hopefully that's a pretty good sign. And let's take a look at what we got. So to start, this sealed PS2 controller, blue. Just has a little bit of coloring on the inside, but it's all sealed up and it's actually pretty good shape. I only paid $5 for that. I came up to a sale or a booth that I had walked past and saw that they had some Madden 17 for the 360. I'm sure it went pretty cheap, so definitely would have liked to have had that, but definitely a good pickup for $5. Next, this Polaroid camera. Just need cleaned up a little bit. I paid $3 for it. I'm gonna start to pick these up because I found a place that will give me $28 for each of these, so definitely gonna start looking for those. Next was a pretty awesome pickup. I never walk inside ever, but today I took a shortcut because I'd already walked through about 4 times, so I was looking to go someplace else. So let's start with this. So it's the power stick for the Sega Genesis. It just needs cleaned up. The cord and everything's in good shape. All the buttons worked, wasn't sticky or anything like that. It was these 2 girls just sitting inside. A little wear in the bottom, but that's fine. 2 girls just sitting inside. They had a stack of old like Game Informers, PlayStation magazines, just tons of stuff, and no Nintendo powers, but they did have a whole bunch of Sega stuff. Then we came across this guy. So Sega CD, definitely needs cleaned up. Button sticks a little bit. I've had it open before, so it does open. She had the Model 2 Genesis with it, but I already have like 4 of them, and I already have one that works, so I didn't need that. I think I kind of messed up a little bit on my pricing, but she had this sitting there. She did have a power cable, and then she also had the 32X sitting there as well. She didn't have the power cable for it, but that's fine. I have all of these, so that won't be an issue. Like I said, they just need cleaned up. She said they worked when her roommate moved out and just kind of dumped them on her. Honestly, they're in pretty decent shape. There's no corrosion or anything down in the pins here, so I'm pretty happy. I paid $55 for those 2 things. So honestly, if they work, it'll be awesome. I know for a fact that I'll be able to recoup that money. I'm going to pair it up with one of the Model 2 Genesis that I have, and just sell it as a nice big bundle. I'll probably have to go to the video game store and get a couple Sega CD games and a 32X game to make sure I test those. But all in all, pretty pumped. I've never seen one of those before, so I walked past it and I said I'd come back, and I just kind of had to go back. And then the last pickup was a booth. Nothing super crazy, just a bunch of games that I didn't have. Turok 2, War Gods, Forsaken 64. This is Fighters something, I forget. The label's pretty beat up, but I still didn't have it. And then, whoa, Xena Warrior Princess. I remember watching this on TV when I was younger. And then he had a PlayStation 3 controller. I paid $15 for all that, so this is definitely worth 15 bucks here. I'll be able to flip that, no problem. And the other games were games I didn't have. They'll clean up well. The labels are pretty good except for this one, but no, I'm not too worried about it. So all in all, I spent a total of what, $78. I know for a fact that that PS2 controller can sell for at least $40 shipped. The camera's $28, so pretty much right there $68 worth. And if all of that Sega stuff works, I'm definitely gonna hit the jackpot on that. So there's not a whole lot of yard sales. Gonna run to the thrift store. I need to get a couple things so I can ship some stuff out, and if we come across anything else, I'll let you know. Just leaving the good old thrift store. Always pays to get there early, I guess. Found 2 Super Nintendo games. They had a bunch of Genesis games. They were pretty terrible labels and not that great. And they had 4 Super Nintendo games. So I ended up walking out with these 2. Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country. I paid $10 each, definitely higher than I would like, but great bundlers that will help some of my systems sell. They raised the prices. Usually cartridges are $3.99 or $5.99 at the most. So I said something whenever I walked out about it. If I keep going in, I'll talk to the manager about it to see, what's going on. Everything's donated, so I don't understand. You're gonna make money, but anybody would pick those up for $10 in the thrift store. Like I said, they're gonna be great bundlers, so I'm satisfied with it. So home to get some work done, clean up some games, get some stuff listed. I need to get selling stuff ASAP. Alright guys, here are the pickups for this past week. Not a whole lot, but definitely some good stuff. So I guess I can't complain. Let's start up at the top. This was mostly flea market and a couple of the thrift store pickups. So the first one was the PlayStation 2 controller. It is sealed, which is pretty great. I only paid $5 for that, so that'll be definitely a good one to flip. And then next were these Nintendo 64 games and the PlayStation 3 controller. I paid $15 for all those. I didn't actually have any of those. This one obviously has a pretty rough label, but all in all, a couple bucks a piece for games you don't have. They'll clean up nicely. They're pretty dirty, but the labels aren't too bad. And then we came across this Sega Genesis goodness. I never walk through the inside of the flea market just because everyone's charging eBay prices, but I happened to walk by these 2 random girls. They had a whole bunch of magazines, like no Nintendo Powers, but PlayStation magazines, Game Informer, all that stuff. And then over in the corner they had these. So the Sega 32X, the Sega CD, it does have the power cords for the Sega CD, but I do have the cords and things for the 32X, so that's not a big problem. She had a Sega 2 Model 2 on here. I think I kind of screwed up because it was $60 for everything. I said I already had this Sega Model 2 and I didn't need it, so she said $55. But then I asked her for $55 if she would throw this in with it, and she said yeah. So the buttons are all really good. Like I said, it just really needs cleaned up more than anything. She said it worked. Paid $55 for everything. It's definitely a risk, but if everything cleans up and works well, it'll be a very good, rewarding risk. And honestly, I would say that even if I can't get this to work, I don't think I'll have trouble making my money back, so I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, definitely happy to find it. I don't come across this stuff very often, so I had walked away and then went back and picked it up too, so not too shabby. The next was the Dot Hack and the 2 Pokemon games in the Super Mario Advance. I paid $2.99 for the Dot Hack and then $1.99 for each of the Pearl Ranger and the Super Mario Advanced. So definitely a good find there at the thrift store. And then these last ones I had found, it's kind of crazy. If you look, the Flintstones was $2.99. I had actually picked that up earlier in the week, and this morning they had these marked at $9.99. So I did mention it, that why were the prices up so high. The woman said it depends on the condition and probably what the titles are, which they had been pretty good. They also had a whole bunch of Sega Genesis games there too, but the labels were just destroyed, and they were all $9.99 as well. So hopefully it's just a fluke. I don't know, if it keeps up, I'll probably bring it up to him and say something, but I paid more for the Super Mario and the Donkey Kong. Obviously, they're worth that. But those would be good things to add to a bundle to flip, and will be an easy sell. So that will help me out. So I was okay paying that price. All in all, not too bad. I'm gonna get this stuff cleaned up and get it shipped out onto eBay and see what we can recoup real quick. So I have a big purchase coming up that I need to make some money for. So we'll kind of stay tuned and keep you posted on that. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know if you guys have any questions.